What's happening, guys? My name is Nicholas Renaud, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can capture object detection history using the Tensorflow Object Detection API. Let's take a deeper look as to what we'll be going through. So in this video we're going to be covering three key things. So first up, we're going to take a look at what changes we need to make to our existing real-time object detection code to capture our history. Then I'll give you a little bit of an explanation as to how the detections actually work and what you're actually getting out of each detection. So in order to actually get it out, you need to do a little bit of transformation. And then last but not least, we're actually going to be displaying our history to the screen. So as we're making different detections, so in this case, our model is going to be our existing sign language model that we did in a previous video, and I'll link that somewhere above. We're actually going to be logging out the history from each one of those signs. So if in the past or in the future, you wanted to change the sign language model to be specific letters and you wanted to concatenate them together to make sentences, you'd be able to use this code. Let's take a look as to how this is all going to fit together. So first up, what we're going to be doing is leveraging the existing TensorFlow object detection tutorial that we prepared for our sign language model. And I'll show you where to get that from GitHub if you're just getting started with this. Then what we're going to do is perform real-time scoring or near real-time scoring to be able to perform a number of detections, and we'll actually then attach that to our history so we can actually then go on ahead and print it out. Ready to do it? Let's get to it. Alrighty, so in order to get started with capturing our detection history, we first need a model that allows us to capture some detections. So in this particular case, we're going to be using the sign language detection model that we built in another video. And if you want to get access to that, again, it's available on the channel, so you can actually go ahead and take a look at real-time sign language detection with TensorFlow Object Detection. So we're going to be re-leveraging that model to be able to go and capture our detection history. Now, the cool thing about this is that as we capture each one of these detections, we'll actually be able to see an array of our detection history, which we can then potentially go and use for speech to text or text to speech, or you're able to concatenate them together to be able to get an entire sentence. So if you're potentially using a language model or an object detection model that's going and generating single letters, then you can actually concatenate these together to go on ahead and be able to generate full words. Now, again, all of the assets for this tutorial are going to be available inside of GitHub. So this is the code for the object detection with memory tutorial, which is what we're going to be going through now. So first things first, in order to actually go on ahead and do this, we need to have a model that's able to go on ahead and capture different detections. Now, in this case, I've preloaded the sign language model that we trained up in that previous video. And if we actually go and run our visualization cell, which is under step 8, detect in real time, what we'll be able to see is when our webcam activates, we'll be able to see these detections in real time. So you can see me on the screen at the moment. So if I raise my hand, we're getting detections for hello, I love you, thank you, yes, and no. So we're already getting these detections, but at the moment, we're not really doing too much with it. So we're not actually displaying them to the screen or capturing that detection history, which we actually want to do. So we're going to stop this and we're going to start making a couple of changes to our code to be able to capture this detection history. So the nice thing about this is there's really only 3 changes you need to make to this existing code to be able to capture this detection history. So first up, we need to import a new dependency, which is time. So we're going to use the time library to take a break between each detection to give us time to get into the next pose. So let's go on ahead and import our dependency first up. Okay, so that's our first cell done. So what we did there was we just went and imported the time library. So you can see over here, we've just written import time. And really from time, we're just going to be using the time.sleep method to be able to have a 2-second delay between each one of our detections. Now, the next thing that we need to do is actually create an array to store our detection history. So what we're going to do is create a new array, and we're just going to call this history. So really, it's just a blank array that we've gone and created here. So this is our second change, create history array. So in order to do that, we've just written history equals and then some blank square brackets. Now, the third and final thing that we need to do in order to capture our history is to actually go on ahead and grab our detections. Now, I wanted to take a little bit of time to actually delve into what the detections actually are. So if we actually run this script again and type in print detections, all of the detections that we get from our model are actually stored inside of this detections variable here. So if we actually wanted to go and work with them, what we're actually going to need to do is grab out each of these detections. Now, there are a number of keys. So if we actually print out detection keys, this is obviously going to print over and over again, so we'll just let it run once or twice. So you can see that we've got a number of detection keys there, right? So we've got detection boxes, detection scores, detection classes, raw detection boxes, raw detection scores, detection multi-class scores, anchor indices, and number of detections. Now, we're really only interested in two of these. So we're interested in detection classes and detection scores. So our detection classes are going to tell us which label has been identified, and this is available through this category index up here. So if we actually type out category index, if we see the detection score is 1, then we know that hello's been identified, detection score 2, or detection class 2, thank you, detection class 3, I love you, 4, yes, 5, no, and so on. So what we actually need to do is we actually need to convert the number, because we're only going to get a number back, to the actual label. So we'll actually do that when we go and append to history. Now, our detection scores are actually going to give us the probability for that detection class. So what we're actually going to do is use NumPy, so the numpy.argmax function, to go and return the highest score detection. So this is going to allow us to grab the highest detection that we've actually found and its class, and then convert that to our label index. So let's go on ahead and do this, and then we'll actually take a look at the code that we've written. Alrighty, so we've written 4 lines of code there. So let's actually go on ahead and run this so you can see what it looks like when it's running, and then we'll take a step back and actually take a look at the code that we've written. So if we now go and run this cell, what we should get back is our camera popping up, and we can see some detections once that's available. Oh, we've got a bit of a typo, DETECT, detections. Let's try that again. All right, so we can see our camera is working, and right now, as soon as we put our hands up, so you can see there's a little bit of lag. So this is intentional, and I'll show you how to take this off if you want. And you can see down the bottom that we're actually getting our detections logged out as well. So if we go and now perform a hello pose, we should be able to see that. And yes. And no. And you can see all the way down here, we're actually logging out our detection history. So I love you, I love you, I love you, hello, 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 I love you, hello, thank you, yes, no, so on and so forth. So now you can see how that works. Let's actually take a look at the code. So there's 4 key lines of code that we've written. So this line here is actually getting our word. So it's actually transforming our detections from a detection score and a detection number, and actually going in ahead and grabbing our word. This line here, so history.append word, is actually appending that word to our history array that we created up here. Then what we're doing is we're sleeping between each one of these detections. So this is taking a 2-second pause to allow us to get into a different pose. So if you wanted to perform detections faster, you can actually comment out that line and it's going to run a whole heap faster. And then last but not least, we're actually printing out our history, which you can see being displayed down here. Now, I wanted to take a little bit of time to take a look at those detections themselves. So if we actually take a look at this line here, you can see that we're doing quite a fair bit. So let's take a step back and actually see what we're doing. So first up, what we're doing is we're using numpy.argmax to go and grab the highest detected value. So this is actually going to go on ahead and go to our detection scores array and grab the highest possible detection. What we're then doing is we're then using that number, or specifically the position within that array, to get the matching detection class through the detection classes array. And then what we're doing is we're adding a 1 to that. So when we actually get our detection classes, the values that we're going to get are actually going to start from key 0. But you can see here that our category index actually starts from key 1. So we want to add a 1 to make sure that we're mapping appropriately. Now this brings us to our next point. So we're then going and grabbing the appropriate index from our category index, and we're specifically grabbing the name key, which is going to give us the actual word from our detection. Now, I've obviously shown it for a sign language tutorial and a word-based tutorial, but you could definitely take this away and use it per letter and concatenate these together to be able to capture different detection histories. You could even output this NumPy array that you've got, because now you've got it stored inside of history. So if we actually take a look at history, you've actually got a history of all the detections that we just went and captured. And that about wraps it up. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and tick that bell so you get notified when I release future videos. And let me know how you went about capturing your detection history using the TensorFlow Object Detection API. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace.